Hi friends, thank you for joining me for this week's Astro Weather Forecast. I'm Pixarty, or Pix for short. This is for the week of Monday, June 27th through Sunday, July 3rd. I release this content for my Patron besties at the beginning of every week, so if you're interested in getting this information on time, you can click the link for my Patreon in the description. The beginning of the week has a lot going on. We have some pressure or tension building throughout the week due to a Mars-Pluto square that exacts on Friday. We also have a new moon in Cancer, and Neptune stations retrograde. So we got some interesting topics to discuss this week. First, I'm going to go into the general forecast, and then I'll jump into some rising sign horoscopes for the week. So check the timestamps in the description if you want to just hop right to your rising sign. So let's start on the early morning of Monday, June 27th. That's when Mercury in Gemini sextiles Chiron at 16 degrees Aries. So there may have been a conversation or a discussion that came up over the weekend, maybe one that triggered you or regarding a trigger that you have or that you've experienced in the past. Probably related to when the sun in Gemini sextiled Chiron on June 6th. So you can think about that day, what happened around that day. Also, same vibes as when Mars conjoined Chiron on June 14th. So yeah, check those dates in your agenda or in your journal and see exactly what came up for you to get a hint as to what to expect on Monday, or I guess over the weekend in general. Themes include some sort of ego check, a semi-painful change maybe, or separation, or something to do with your health, your body, your vitality, your autonomy. So over the weekend and by Monday, you could be checking in with these feelings, with these triggers, communicating, benchmarking where you're at with them, or just talking through the trigger or the wound that went on. And there's a lot that's been going on in the world that could be triggering us, so this makes a lot of sense. And then on Monday afternoon, Mars in Aries sextiles Saturn retrograde at 24 degrees Aquarius. So this indicates very productive times, very productive Monday. Not only is there opportunity for emotional productivity with Chiron, we also have Mars and Saturn working together, bringing in opportunities to really get some shit done. A great Monday for successful productivity, getting what you need to get done, especially physical labor, working in the garden, doing any housework, cleaning, detoxing, working on any projects that you've been working on, anything going on in your life. Very productive times. There could be an element of authority to the day, either you needing to take authority or noticing authority in your life, seeing it in other people, or finding your own inner authority in a situation. The cardinal signs, that's Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, and the fixed signs, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, will be feeling this authoritative energy the most. For the mutable signs, that's Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Sag, the story is a bit different. Because late that night, or in the morning of Tuesday, June 28th, Neptune stations retrograde at 25 degrees Pisces. Like all planets that station retrograde, Neptune has been moving very slowly for the past couple weeks in order to stop and change direction. So we've probably already been feeling a lot of the Neptune retrograde effects, but Neptune fully stops to make its transition Tuesday morning. And let's see, Neptune retrograde can bring in 1 or 3 different types of energy. Number 1, lethargy, confusion, haze, fogginess, misunderstandings, miscommunications, tiredness, sleepiness. You get the point. Number 2, disillusionment, dissatisfaction, realizations, sudden clarity, being the fog kind of clearing and seeing the forest through the trees. Is that the saying? Talking about Neptune is even hard. The Neptune energy just comes in. Okay, number 3, the third Neptune energy to expect. Magic. Like, this is the good part. The magic, the mystical energy, the spirituality, the creativity, the fantasy, the escapism through content like shows, Lord of the Rings, or through substances, drinking more, smoking more, escapism, video games, also Neptune-y. So 1, lethargy, 2, disillusionment, or 3, magic or synchronicities in some way. 1 or 3 of these themes might come up for you with Neptune stationing retrograde early this week. And all that can be done with Neptune stationing retrograde is to just release your need for control and go with the flow. Neptune asks for an obscene amount of faith and trust, in my experience. And anyway, the moon enters Cancer shortly after Neptune stations retrograde, and the new moon will exact at 7 degrees Cancer later on Tuesday morning. So we will also experience a new beginning, a new seed is planted in our lives. This could be more internal, a more private new moon, not necessarily one shouted from the rooftops, but a new seed is planted with Cancer themes like comfort, home, security, family, mothers, babies. The new moon squares Jupiter at 7 degrees Aries, who is also in a sextile with Venus at 7 degrees Gemini. So this indicates some positivity and some blessings being intertwined with this new beginning in some way. So having positivity, hope, faith, abundance be themes coming up, along with stimulating conversations, hopefully joy, pleasure, harmony, and socialization, but maybe the Venus energy is bringing in more women energy. Most of the time, energy is pretty low for new moons, and it's more of a time for low-key or low-energy activities. So resting, recuperating, or finishing something are all common themes. It's a great time to do any manifestation rituals, which I know we all want to do. So the new moon is generally known for planting your seeds. I'll dive deeper into what sort of new beginning to expect or what kind of energy to use for this new moon for your rising sign in a little bit, or check the timestamps in your description if you have to hop there. Luckily, we experience a little bit of a break from the bustle on Wednesday, though we will probably be feeling some tension from the applying square between Saturn and Pluto that exacts on Friday. But before I discuss that, on the evening of Thursday, June 30th, the moon enters Leo, and any blankets that might have been wet are hanging out to dry and warming up, cooking. Energy ramps up a bit after that little bit of rest and recuperation with the new moon. We have more energy to be seen, be heard, do Leo things, do lion things. Coming out of that restful, recuperative new moon, that cocoon, the seeds start to take root. But again, there is pressure cooking in the background all week, ever since last weekend, ever since Friday. And then on Friday, July 1st, a week later, the issue may finally culminate in some way. Mars in Aries will exact its square with Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn, who is retrograde. Mars in a hard aspect with Pluto is generally full of tension and power dynamics and authority, sometimes intense separations or intense endings. At its worst, it can be explosive or just extremely constricting. So noticing this in other people, noticing this in yourself possibly, but noticing it in the world is super obvious, I would say. So the downside is that obviously it's anxiety inducing and exhausting and frustrating, full of tension. But after a little bit of strife, it can be kind of productive. There can be productivity that comes through the strife and the disorder and the issues, the challenges. It can be an opportunity to assert yourself where needed, to place boundaries, to take your power back in some way, to fight for what you believe in. The cardinal signs, that's Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, will be noticing this energy the most. If you feel yourself struggling this week at all with this dynamic, light a candle for yourself. Light a candle to feel peace, or light a candle for whatever you need for your highest good. Maybe you do need to be pissed off, but just light a candle with the intention to stay connected and for help and assistance. So after Friday, this energy culminates and hopefully passes. Of course, there's always more challenges to come, but this specific tension will pass. And the weekend itself has some mixed bag vibes as well, though none as tense as that. The morning of Saturday, July 2nd, Mercury in Gemini trines retrograde Saturn at 24 degrees Aquarius. This is solution-oriented energy, having to do with serious topics or long-term commitments, contracts, agreements. Slowing down, getting detailed, getting specific, getting precise, checking your work, reading between the lines. We can expect productive and serious conversations, maybe including that dry Saturnian energy, or maybe having to do with authority or constrictions in some way. I would say that it would be very productive on Saturday, but that afternoon, that same Mercury in Gemini squares retrograde Neptune at 25 degrees Pisces. So there may be something serious going on or productive going on in the background or in one aspect in your life, but in another, there may be something that's very, very hazy. But on the other hand, this haze can be a very mystical place to be, a very spiritual place to be, like the Hanged Man tarot card. It's a great opportunity to sink into your spirituality or to sink into any creativity you have. Something might happen in connection with Monday or Tuesday when Neptune stationed retrograde. So again, the Neptune themes I'm going to bring up. Number 1, lethargy, confusion, haze, misunderstandings, miscommunications. Number 2, disillusionment, dissatisfactions, delusions, sudden clarity, realizations, martyr energy. Number 3, magic, mystical energy, spirituality, synchronicities, creativity, fantasy, escapism. Also, since this is Mercury that's being contacted, technology and travel and gadgets may be acting haywire, similar to a Mercury retrograde. Goody. Miscommunications and travel hiccups are also a part of that. Just know any technological difficulties will pass after this Mercury-Neptune square. And it helps a lot that the next morning, on Sunday, July 3rd, the moon enters Virgo. So all mercurial issues should come with some assistance with this Mercury-ruled moon on Sunday. Or maybe it makes it even worse, okay? I'm trying to be positive here. Maybe we have some help from Virgo, but on the other hand, this messed up Mercury might be making this moon even gnarlier, if that makes sense. This Sunday, though, would be a good time to clean, a Virgo moon, good time to clean or organize, a good time to do meal prep. Virgo moons also make it easier to focus on your vitality in some way. If you want to do something for your body, the moon supports that on Sunday. You can definitely expect to have an interesting weekend. Maybe some interesting conversations with the moon in Virgo. And if you start to feel any mercurial anxiety about the week ahead, go outside, sit in the sun, and eat a banana. Because we have a lot going on after that. The 4th of July, not only is it just an interesting holiday nowadays, but the astrology always reflects that. So we have some shifts. We have Mercury changing signs and Mars changing signs the following week. And so we're having some intense buildup with Mercury and Mars at the last degrees of their signs. This can be very intense. And there's some sort of culmination that's going to happen around the 4th and the 5th, which isn't really surprising when you think about the 4th of July, if you're in America at least. Anyways, maybe we should all go outside, sit in the sun, and eat a banana, and then we'll jump into the rising sign horoscopes. As usual, this is a rising sign horoscope. So if you don't know your rising sign, there's a link in the description for you to click to calculate it. And if you don't know what time you were born, you can use your sun or your moon, but I highly recommend getting your chart rectified by an astrologer. Okay, Aries rising, let's start with you. I'm pulling up the chart. And so this week might have you feeling a bit tired or a bit lethargic, just wanting to stay home and have some private time. So give yourself permission to rest and carve out some time to be alone. The new moon plants a seed in your life's foundation, your home life, your family, your property. Positivity and reflection and recuperation are the words for this week, which is necessary for any of the stress or pressure that's been applied to you lately, which I know has been a lot. You may notice power dynamics occurring in your life, especially with your work or your praxis, just what you're known for doing in general. If you're involved in some sort of intense dynamic, it will pass by Friday. The square from Jupiter allows for luck, abundance, and positivity. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest your dream home or your dream family life, your dream foundation in some way. So that's what I have for Aries. We're going to move on to Taurus. Okay, let's pull up the chart. Taurus, this week you might have an interesting or synchronistic experience with a friend, an ally, or a network that you're involved with. Some sort of change in perspective is initiated, as well as finding a new way of communicating, like journaling or getting a point across in emails or some sort of new communication or system at work. The new moon plants a seed with a sibling, a cousin, or with a mode of transportation. So with your siblings or extended family or cars. All these new beginnings will start to take root over the next 2 weeks. And meanwhile, you may be feeling some sort of pressure behind the scenes, not letting anyone see how much stress you're truly under or how much stress is truly in your mind. So it's important you let these thoughts and feelings flow right now without becoming too attached and without ignoring them and pretending that they're not there. The square from Jupiter this week allows for some luck, abundance, and positivity. So try to stay extra grounded this week, listen to your body, and take alone time to process when you need to. For the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to strengthen your connection with your spirit guides so that you can feel and hear their guidance more clearly. And that's what I have for Taurus this week. Let's move on to Gemini rising. Pulling up the chart. This week, you're going to feel a shift with your praxis, with your work or your job or what you're known for. Your reputation gets a bit of a shift. Something about it might be kind of foggy or confusing, but if not confusing, then mystical and synchronistic. Meanwhile, you could be noticing tension between some sort of ally or a partner, or with money and resources in some way. This tension or these power dynamics that you notice are going to pass by the end of the week, by Friday. And the new moon is going to initiate a new beginning to do with your resources, your finances, your income, your material possessions, your stuff. The square from Jupiter allows for some luck, abundance, and positivity. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest any material things that you want, especially financial goals. The new moon is a fertile opportunity for manifesting resources for my Gemini risings this week and for the new moon. And then I think that's what I got for Gemini. Let's move on to Cancer. This week, Cancer rising, you will be experiencing some shifts in perspectives, some mental shifts. There could be a shift with travel if you're traveling in some way, with schooling or with law if you're involved in school or in law. Something about it could be foggy or confusing, and if not confusing, then mystical and synchronistic. Meanwhile, you could be noticing some tension boiling up in the background, maybe between a person and your job or your praxis. So maybe there's some sort of power dynamic going on at work or with work and a partner or a client. This tension, though, will pass by Friday, whatever issue you're having with them. The new moon on Tuesday will initiate a new beginning for you. So a new seed is planted with your identity, with your appearance, with your goals, with your objectives. You're going to feel this new moon very viscerally as a Cancer rising with it in your first house. The square from Jupiter allows for luck, abundance, and positivity. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest any of the things you want for yourself or for your relationships. The new moon is a fertile opportunity for manifesting what Cancer rising wants with that new moon in the first house. So that's what I have for Cancer rising, and we'll move on to Leo rising. This week, you may experience a shift with your shared resources. So with money, with material items, or with maybe some old anxieties, fears, and traumas that are coming up to resurface. If you have a partner, you could notice a shift happening with them or in their life. Something about it could be foggy or confusing, and if not confusing, then mystical and synchronistic. Meanwhile, you could be noticing tension boiling up in the background of the week. This tension might be felt with a few different topics for Leo rising. You could be noticing power dynamics at work with coworkers, or especially having to do with beliefs or ethics. There could be tension around traveling or around education or law if you are involved in either of those topics. You may be having extra physical energy and mental energy, so try and stay grounded to the earth so that the earth doesn't have to ground you for it, if you get my drift. This tension will pass by Friday after culminating, so know that next week won't be as tense. The new moon on Tuesday is going to be initiating a new beginning for you. And this new beginning is going to be a private one, an internal one, or one that's more behind the scenes in your life. A private seed is planted and it's taking root, giving you more opportunities to reconnect with yourself, have some alone time to process life, and to connect deeper with your spirituality. Lower vitality and wanting to chill is definitely in the air with this chart. The square from Jupiter allows for luck, though, abundance, positivity. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest a deeper spiritual connection with your guides so that you can hear them or see them or feel them, their guidance, much more clearly for all these changes that's going on. And that's what I have for Leo this week. We'll move on to Virgo rising. Virgo, this week you may be experiencing a shift with a particular person, a particular relationship, or relationship dynamic. This could be a relationship with a partner or with a prominent friend, coworker, or client. Something about it could be foggy or confusing, or if not confusing, mystical and spiritual. Meanwhile, you could be noticing tension boiling up in the background of the week with that Mars-Pluto square. This tension might be felt with a few different topics for you. So pressure or intensity might be felt between money and fears and traumas and fun and enjoyment and desire and pleasure. So it could have to do with your creativity or things that you have created. Possibly feeling fearful or anxious about a choice that brings you joy. There could be a power or control dynamic happening, maybe with dating or with shared resources with someone, but this tension will pass by Friday. And the new moon on Tuesday is going to initiate a new beginning with allies for you. Your friends, your groups, your colleagues, your networks, or a person in some degree of power that you're friends with. The square from Jupiter allows for some luck, some abundance, some positivity. So for the new moon, light a candle to manifest friends or networking for your highest good, to meet more of your people, or to meet someone that can help you move forward in some way. The new moon has a very fertile opportunity for manifesting connections for you. And that's what I have this week for Virgo. And I will move on to Libra. Libra rising. This week, you're going to be experiencing a shift with your day-to-day routine in some way. Maybe something shifts about your health, your vitality, or maybe something shifts with your pets, or something might shift with your coworkers or service workers. So something about this shift could be foggy or confusing or hazy. And if not confusing, maybe it's really mystical, maybe it's synchronistic, maybe it's magical. But meanwhile, there could be some tension building up in the background for the week with that Mars-Pluto square. This tension might be felt in your private life in some way, or with a particular person and relationship. So there could be power dynamics at play with a family member, or with something to do with your home life and a relationship. This is decision-making time, so you may have to make a choice. And this intensity, this intense choice, or this rock and hard place that you're feeling should pass by Monday, but you will be feeling this in the background of the week. It's a good opportunity to take your power back in whatever way you have given it away. The new moon on Tuesday is going to initiate a new beginning for what you are known for your reputation. A new beginning in general, especially with how you are seen and what you do for a job or at work. There's a square from Jupiter, and that allows for a lot of luck, abundance, and positivity. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest something you really want for yourself, especially any work goals you have. The new moon has a very fertile opportunity to manifest career or reputation things for Libra risings. And that's what I have for you this week. And we're going to move on to Scorpio after I take a sip of water. Scorpio risings. This week, you might notice a shift with your creativity or with your dating life or with what you do for fun. If you have kids, there could be a shift in their lives in some way. Something about it could be foggy or confusing. And if not confusing, then maybe it's mystical and synchronistic. Meanwhile, you could be noticing some tension boiling up in the background of the week due to that Mars-Pluto square. You may be working extra hard or feeling extra pressure and less patience than usual. Try your best to stay grounded so that the earth doesn't have to do it for you. You may have extra energy or feel a bit more combative than usual. If you notice this, make a point to physically move your body in some way. Walks, yoga, swimming, stretching, biking, hiking, boxing. This energy will be mental and physical for you, so journaling this week will be very beneficial as well. Your day-to-day routine might feel a bit more intense with all this extra energy. And your pets might need extra attention too in some way. You might have to drive more than you like or run more errands or experience more bad drivers than usual. Something intense could happen in a sibling or cousin's life. Overall, you're going to be feeling some pressure applied somewhere. And this intensity is pointing towards the fact that it's decision-making time. So you have to make some sort of choice. This intensity, though, will pass by Friday. The new moon on Tuesday will initiate a new beginning with a perspective you hold or a helpful realization. Maybe there's a new beginning that's happening with travel for you, or with schooling, or a law case if you're involved in one. It could also be a very occulty new beginning. So a new beginning with astrology or divination, a tarot, or anything like that. The square from Jupiter brings in abundance, positivity, and some luck. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle that manifests any perspective shifts that can help you for your highest good. The new moon has a very fertile opportunity for manifestation magic in general. So take advantage of that. And that's what I have for Scorpio this week. And we move on to Sag rising. This week, you're going to be experiencing a shift with your private life or your home life or your foundation in some way. Maybe something shifts with your parents or with your family, or something shifts with your property or your foundation, like where you live, your home, or something about this shift could be kind of foggy or confusing or hazy or weird. And if not confusing, then maybe it's kind of mystical or synchronistic somehow. But meanwhile, you could be noticing some tension building up in the background of the week with that Mars-Pluto square. This tension for you could have to do with money or material items, your dating life, or fun stuff. There could be pressure around finances, what you do for fun, like partying, camping, gaming. You could notice power and control dynamics happening in your dating life. If you have kids, there could be some sort of tension happening in their lives. But this intensity should pass by Friday. The new moon on Tuesday is going to initiate a new beginning with your mental health, with the shared resources you have, like money or material possessions. Or if you're in a relationship, it could be a new beginning with something to do in their life. A new seed is planted with old fears, old anxieties, helping things come out to be healed. The square from Jupiter allows for luck and abundance and positivity. So for this new moon, I recommend you light a candle to help heal any old fears or anxieties that are coming up for you now. And this new moon has just it's a very fertile opportunity for healing, in general. So just keep that in mind this week. And that's what I have for Sag risings. I'm going to move on to Cap risings. Okay, Capricorn, this week you may experience a shift in perspective, a shift with a sibling, or a shift in your immediate environment in some way. Something could shift with your mode of transportation or with any errands that you usually run. Something about these shifts could be foggy or confusing or hazy. If not confusing, then maybe synchronistic or mystical in some way. Meanwhile, you're probably noticing some tension boiling up in the background of the week. This pressure or tension is probably felt in your home life, or with your family, or with your property. Do your best to try and stay grounded so that the earth doesn't have to ground you for it. This intensity should pass by Friday. The new moon on Tuesday is going to initiate a new beginning with your relationship life, or with a partner, or with the way that you interact with clients. The square from Jupiter allows for some luck and positivity and abundance. So for the new moon, I recommend you light a candle for manifesting any relationship or client goals that you have. The new moon is a very fertile opportunity for this. So this is what I have for the week, and I'm going to move on to Aquarius. Aquarius rising, you may experience a shift this week with your resources. So something could shift with your material possessions, your stuff, or with your income or finances. Something about these shifts could be foggy or confusing or hazy. And if not confusing, then maybe they're synchronistic or mystical in some way. And meanwhile, you could be noticing some tension or anxiety boiling up behind the scenes for you. Your thought processes and perspectives might be extra sharp or intense this week. You could be noticing a power or control dynamic happening in your life or in your immediate environment. Maybe you notice intensity with a sibling, a cousin, or some form of extended family member. Maybe with your car or your mode of transportation, some sort of intensity. Yes, did I just lump cars in with extended family? I did. So do your best to try and stay grounded this week so that the earth doesn't try and ground you for it. This intensity that you're going to be feeling will pass by Friday. And there's a new moon on Tuesday that's going to initiate a new beginning for you with your daily routine. This new routine could be due to health or some sort of body change, or maybe a change with a pet, or a change with coworkers or with service workers that you've hired. Or maybe just an overall new beginning with your work ethic in some way. The square from Jupiter allows for some luck and abundance and positivity. So for this new moon, I recommend you light a candle to manifest any changes you want in your routine, or any changes you want with your pets, with your coworkers, with your health, especially with your health and vitality. The new moon is a very fertile opportunity for this, so take advantage of it this week. And that's what I have for Aquarius. And I'm going to move on to Pisces. Pisces rising. This week you may experience a shift with the way that you present yourself or with a goal or objective that you have. This could be something that you've been feeling for the past couple weeks that comes to a head this week. You could change your hair or your style in some way, or there could be a shift in a partnership you have or are in or with clients. Something about these shifts could be foggy or confusing. If not confusing, then maybe mystical or synchronistic in some way. Meanwhile, you're probably noticing some tension building up in the background with your allies and with your resources. There could be some sort of power dynamic happening with a friend, with a colleague, or with a group, as well as your finances or a material item that you own. This intensity will be felt all week and should pass by Friday. The new moon on Tuesday is going to initiate a new beginning with pleasure and enjoyment for you. A seed could be planted with the things you do for fun, like games, camping, partying, or whatever it is that you do for fun. A new beginning could happen with your creative side or with someone you're dating, your dating life, or your kid's life could have a new beginning in some way. The square from Jupiter allows for luck, abundance, and positivity. So for the new moon, light a candle to manifest fun things you enjoy, and what you truly desire. The moon is a very fertile opportunity for manifesting what you want, which is what you desire in general. So that's what I have for this week. That's what's up for the week, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Are you expecting anything to come up for you for the new moon or for this Mars-Pluto square? Let me know in the comments. Or if you want some support this week, don't forget you can chat with me and a bunch of other really cool people in the 9th House Discord. The link to join is in the description. I'm endlessly thankful for your support and for you being here. Have an amazing week, everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.